Shalom, Yasharala. This is your brother Dawud from GMS Tampa Bay 07, coming at you with this here truth again. First and foremost, I want to give all praises unto Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shah, Bahashim, Rakar Kadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone that taught me this truth and that rule well. And salutation, much love for you, I can push this truth and sincerity on the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions. All right, to finish up this here series of videos dealing with basically these curses falling upon Esau, and him catching his judgment, we're going to go into the scriptures, all right, and pull out quite a few scriptures that's showing you through the scriptures all the things that we was reading about in these articles, all right, in the previous videos, all right. So we're going to start out in Genesis 25, because I quoted this quite a bit, all right. This is Genesis 25 and 21. And Isaac entreated of Yahweh for his wife, because she was barren, and Yahweh was entreated of him, and Rebekah his wife conceived. And the children struggled together within her, and she said, If it be so, why am I thus? She went to inquire of Yahweh, and Yahweh said unto her, all right, so homegirl is pregnant, right? She got two, she got twins, right? And she's having, something struggling in her womb, like they say, you know what I'm saying? And so she's about to figure out what she went to the Lord, all right? And the Lord is telling her what's going on. She got these children fighting inside her womb, all right? It says, and Yahweh said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb, all right? 2 different nationalities. Even though they're coming from the same mother and the father, he's going to separate them, all right, and create 2 different nations out of them. All right, it says 2 nations are in thy womb, 2 manner of people, meaning they got 2 different mannerisms, all right? They act 2 totally different ways, all right? They like 2 totally different things, It says, 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels, all right? And 1 people shall be stronger than the other people, all right? And the elder shall serve the younger. The point I wanted to get at, all right, in 24, and when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb, and the first came out red all over like a hairy garment, and they called his name Esau, all right? And after that, his brother came out, and his hand took hold of Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob, and Isaac was 60 years old when she bare him. All right, so that's the birth of Jacob and Esau. But going back on up to the top, it says, 2 nations are in thy womb, 2 manner of people. It says, and 1 people shall be stronger than the other people. All right, and we know that these people they're talking about is Jacob and Esau, 2 different mannerism of people, 2 different nations. All right, but the point I wanted to get at was they was going to be separated from birth, and they were going to be one nation was going to be stronger than the other one. All right, being physically stronger. All right, when you look in the sports world and all those things like that, we dominate the sports world. Why? Because we physically we got we physically better than them, more or less to say, roughly just put it out there. We stronger than them in physique and stuff like that, physical attributes. All right. Also mentally. All right. We can mentally, take on a lot more hardship and stuff like that. Like in the articles I was bringing out, you've seen a lot of these so-called suicides and Edomites getting on opioids and alcohol and all kind of crazy shit like that. For what? Because the economy was falling down. They was losing money, or they couldn't deal with basically being the devil, that hegemonic masculinity, as they call it, or the fact of all these different things. They're not a strong enough people to endure those types of afflictions and oppression. All right, but yet the Israelites, we endured, actually going into slavery. Like, that's a physical thing, something physically we had to go through, the beatings and the torturings and all those things. Also, the mental imagery of seeing all that stuff, let's say you wasn't even touched in slavery, but you just had to witness all of that, that's a physical, traumatic experience you're going through. All right. We was able to endure that, and also, spiritually. All right, man, we've been broken down spiritually throughout the whole time we've been over here. All right. We was, first of all, stripped of our God and our power and his name and everything like that. All right. And was forced to worship a so-called white man. All right. And hey, we was doing that diligently. You see what I'm saying? But then, even after that, we started, coming out of churches and losing hope and all kind of different things like that. The one spiritual people on the planet Earth, all right, was losing their so-called spirituality. You start to see more and more so-called black atheists and Hispanic atheists, things like that. When we, like, if anything, we the one people on the planet Earth that, by default can't be atheists. You know what I'm saying? We understand, no matter if we know who our power is or not, that we have a power and there is a higher power. All right, that's just inside of us. All right. But like I was saying, mentally, physically, and spiritually, we stronger than these Edomites. All right. Now I wanted to bring out some of their so-called downfall and some of the things that's going on. Let me read a little bit of this Ezekiel 35, which is talking about I'll read Ezekiel 35:2. Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir and prophesy against it, and say unto it, thus saith Yahweh power, behold, O Mount Seir, I am against thee, and I will stretch out my hand against thee, I will make thee most desolate. All right. So the Most High is he has a controversy against these Edomites, these so-called white people. All right. And he said he's going to stretch his hand out and make it most desolate. He's going to start bringing these so-called white people down. All right. And it says, because they had the perpetual hatred. I'll read verse 5. Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, and thou hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, and the time of their iniquity had an end. All right. So all these different things, like, we was supposed to go into captivity under you. All right. According to the scriptures. But after, the so-called Emancipation Proclamation is when you started turning up and doing all this foul, wicked shit to us, even up until the same day, And so this is why you, in that perpetual hatred you had, this is why you getting your judgment. All right. And as you've seen in the articles, a lot of the different things like the crack epidemic in our neighborhoods and crack babies and stuff like that is all falling on them now. They all heroin addicts and stuff like that, You oppressing Jake basically to the point to where Jake want to commit suicide, and he just hate life and so depressed and start living a death style lifestyle, where he gang banging, want to be going around killing, robbing, stealing, doing all kind of hardcore drugs and shit, things that he could just die from, doing all kind of crazy shit, just not giving a fuck about life. They in that type of suicidal spirit. But, again, we stronger than you. We don't just normally break like that. We'll wind up going to go do a slow death, suicide like that, go live a dangerous lifestyle type of shit. Just don't give a fuck about life no more before we kill ourselves, But nevertheless, all these things is about to start coming upon you because of the things you did to us. All right. Like the scriptures say, reward her double as she rewarded you. All right. It's a righteous thing to recompense those that trouble you. All right. Let me see. It says, verse 6, therefore as I live, thus saith Yahweh power will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee as thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. I will make Mount Seir most desolate, and cut off from it him that passeth out and him that returneth. And I will fill his mountains with his slain men, and his hills and his valleys and all thy rivers, and they shall fall that are slain with the sword. All right. And I will make thee perpetual desolation, and thy city shall not return, and thou shalt know that I am Yahweh. All right. Now, predominantly, a lot of this is talking about when these nukes come down and the chariots come down to finish these Edomites off. All right. But there's also going to be the increase to that, And like I said in one of the videos, like, yo, this is a beautiful thing to behold. Before we actually put our hands on these Edomites, or the Lord come down with the chariots, or these missiles touch down on their ass, hey, these curses like we're about to get into is going to be starting to be transferred on these Edomites. They're going to start just catching these calamities. All right. The Most High is making them, laying their cities waste and desolate, laying their streets full of their damn dead bodies, and we ain't even started touching them yet. They just committing suicide and on drugs and dropping like flies, and also their reproductive rate is just, they're not reproducing. So, their numbers are declining rapidly at a rapid rate. The Most High is filling they cities with the slain men, And really, none of them are really dying by the sword right now, unless they dying by self-inflicted wounds, It says, verse 11, therefore as I live, saith Yahweh power, I will do according to thine anger and according to thine envy, which thou hast used out of hatred against them, and I will make myself known among them when I have judged thee. Yeah, so you putting crack in our neighborhoods and abortion clinics and all these different things to Salakia. All these things to decrease our population, Now all these things is turning on you now. All these things are falling upon you right now. All these things, all these curses are now afflicting you now. All these things are coming upon your head now, all right? All these things, you was feeding us out of this here cup. Now you drinking out of that cup, all right? And it says, and thou shalt know that I am Yahweh, and I've heard all thy blasphemies which thou hast spoken against the mountains of Israel, saying they are laid desolate and given to us to consume. Yeah, we done took the nation of Israel in the captivity, and yeah, we can feed them crack and put drugs and guns in their neighborhood and give them abortions and feed them pork and stress them the fuck out to where they want to go and commit suicide. But hey, the Most High is going to do with your same anger, the way you did us, is the same shit that's happening to you right here, right now, today in your face. All right. All these things through the power and the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, something to give thanks for. You know, that all these things is happening. And hey, I ain't had to break a sweat, you know, as far as putting these Edomites, you know, doing nothing to these Edomites, you know. I might break a sweat because I'm doing a video inside of my car and is you know, a little toasty, but I ain't actually having to do no actions against these Edomites. I ain't forcing heroin down their throat. I ain't, you know, harvesting no fields and bringing it to their neighborhood, selling no heroin or no shit like that, you know, or nothing like that, you know, or aborting their babies or giving them how they say birth control to their women. I ain't doing none of that stuff. They doing this all to their own self, you know. I'm not taking business and economics away from their companies and their farms and stuff like that. Edomites is doing that to other Edomites, all right? So from there, oh, hold on, it says, thus with your mouth have you boasted against me and multiplied your words against me, and I've heard them, all right? You know, Esau and his pride, you know, thinking that he ruled everything out of his own might and all this stuff, you know? Like the scripture says, this the man, they gonna say, is this the man that did make the world tremble? They gonna just look at you for who you are. Really, that's the Most High letting his, how do you say, his hedge down from around your ass. Cause, you know what I'm saying? Hey, you was given dominion to rule over the earth. All right. We wasn't supposed to touch your ass at this point in time, but that is slowly coming down, and the Most High is bringing these curses upon you. All right. It says, as thou did rejoice at the inheritance of Israel, because it was desolate, so will I do unto thee. Thou shalt be desolate, O Mount Seir, and all Idumea, even all of it, and they shall know that I am Yahweh. Yeah, just like when I was doing that video about these damn Edomites catching their damn judgment, and it was going into the one about the opioid crisis, you know, right beside me, this Edomite chick started catching judgment, you know. Hey, look, just like how y'all was rejoicing at us, y'all was out there having picnics where y'all was picking niggas and barbecuing them, hanging them in trees and taking pictures and making postcards out of that and rejoicing over all of that. Hey, man, we coming into those times where it's going to be a lot of events like what you witnessed on the other video, you know what I'm saying, taking place. And, hey, we're going to be rejoicing in that, you know, giving all praise and thanks to Yahweh Shem Yahushua. All right. So from there, we're going to go to the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 30 and verse 7. It says, and Yahweh thy power will put all these curses upon thy enemies. Hold on. Yeah. I'm going to read verse 1. Deuteronomy 30:1. And it shall come to pass when all these things are come upon thee, the blessings and the curse which I have set before thee, thou shalt call them to mind among all the nations, whether Yahweh have driven thee. Yeah, and that's where the time we in now. You know, we letting you know that, like, hey, we got to answer for slavery now. We went in slavery because we went off, all right? We understand, you know, our transgression. These are the curses that befell upon us, you know? As you read in Deuteronomy 28, we're going to get to that, but nevertheless, that was pertaining to us in these times that we at now, all right? But, you know, there's going to be a point in time where the Most High is going to actually redeem us from that, bring us back, call us back, save us from all of that, all right? And then this is what's going to happen, Deuteronomy 30:7. And Yahweh thy power will put all these curses, the ones that we already under, curses upon thine enemy and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee. All right. So who is our enemy? The so-called white man, the Edomites, the one that the Most High said, I will bring thy enemy from afar, you know, and basically you're going to be in captivity up under him. All right. And it also said Esau hated his brother, you know what I'm saying, with that perpetual hatred. All right. So putting two and two together, talking about these damn Edomites, these curses about to start falling on these Edomites. All right. And as you see, you know, and as you caught actual, you know, in the midst of breaking down actual evidence in the articles, you actually had a firsthand sight of that, you know. That's this here prophecy coming true. The Most High said, and Yahweh thy power will put all these curses upon thy enemies and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee. All right. Now we're going to read some of these here curses that's going to start befalling them. All right. We read some, but we're going to start reading some more. All right. It says, now this is all written, you know what I'm saying, basically to the Israelites, all right? Because at first, this was being told that this was a prophecy. This was going to happen to us, all right, first and foremost. But as we just read, all the curses that you went through is going to go on to your enemies. After you done serving out your punishment, it's going to be passed on to somebody else, all right? So it's kind of written directed to Israel. You know what I'm saying? But as we already know, we already pretty much finished out our sentence, and now it's about to be passed on. All right. So it says Deuteronomy verse 28, verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of Yahweh thy power, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes which I command thee this day. All right. So if we don't follow the law, statutes, commandments, this is what's going to happen. That all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. All right. So all these curses are going to overcome you and overtake thee. All right. And it also says and it's going to pursue you till you be destroyed. All right. So basically we're going to be like beaten down and destroyed by these curses. They're going to just keep hammering on us till we just done. We finished. This was going to be wiping us out, you know, bringing us down to that small remnant, you know. All right. But like I said, we was reading in Deuteronomy 30:7. All of these curses is going to be coming upon these Edomites. All right. So we're going to jump around quite a bit. I'm going to read verse 16 and 17. It says, cursed shall thou be in the city, and cursed shall thou be in the field, cursed shall thou be in the basket and in thy store. So like in one of the articles I brought out about the suicide rate amongst the farmers and business agriculture people. All right. That's what that article was talking about. But really, like I said, it's really dealing with all economics. All right. All these economics, because they all own all of this shit. And really economics is on a downhill spiral for these Edomites. All right. And it's all being controlled by these Edomites. All right. But like, you know, like the scriptures say here, you know, again, this isn't directed directly at the Edomites. It was for us, but also the scriptures say these curses are going to be on to them. So as you start to see today, hey, like we read in the article, cursed shall thou be in the city, you know, with your manufacturing jobs, you losing all of those and so on and so forth. All right. And cursed shall thou be in the field. All right. Yeah. Out there and you're farming and all that stuff. Cursed shall thou be in the basket, you know, and in the store. When you're trying to sell your products, your milk and your cows and your livestock and all that stuff, hey, you're going to be cursed in. And then also, like, when you're trying to import and buy all this stuff, your tariffs that they got on everything, you're going to be cursed there too. All right. Let me jump to... well, I'll read verse 19. Cursed shall thou be when thou comest in, and cursed shall thou be when thou goest out. All right. Well, shit, there ain't really too many of y'all Edomites coming into the damn planet Earth because y'all reproducing at a declining rate, you know. And then cursed shall thou be when y'all go out. It's a lot of y'all old fuckers that's about to die off, and y'all ain't got no offspring to carry on y'all lineage. All right. It says, and Yahweh shall send upon thee cursing, vexation, and rebuke, and all thou settest thy hand to do, thou shalt be destroyed until thou perish quickly, because of the wickedness of thy doing whereby thou hast forsaken me. All right. And again, you know, this was directed to the Israelites, but these curses falling on Esau. All right. So, but it says, cursed shall thou be. Pretty much anything you touch, you're going to be cursed in. All right. Like we was looking at, you know, and cursing all your businesses. They going to all wind up turning on these snares. All right. You decide to be greedy and create shit like Monsanto's and consolidate all the seeds and hold patents on all the seeds, re-engineer those, geoengineer these, not geoengineer, genetically re-engineer these seeds and stuff like that, and the soil and all that type of stuff, right? And then what? You mass produce the stuff, right? And give it preservatives. Now you're putting your farmers out of business and all these different things. So you fucking up your own, you know, your own new inventions, and your own wickedness is destroying your own shit in a whole another outcome. You know, your feminism and your pride and your greed and your money and all that, not wanting to have kids is stunting your growth in the long run. It's stopping your population growth down the lines. All right. All these different things, systems you coming up with, you know, you're setting your hand forth to do, or you're putting your hand on the pen to write these things in law, you know, to so-called keep everybody else down. All these things is being affected by you. You going out in Afghanistan and stealing the poppy fields to bring in heroin to control the population. Well, it's only your people on that shit, you know, and your people is committing suicide and dying off of that shit at an alarming rate. All right. So, you know, karma's a bitch, man. It says the heaven, verse 23, and thy heaven that is over thy head shall be brass, and the earth that is under thee shall be iron. And Yahweh shall make the rain of thy land powder and dust from heaven, and it shall come down unto thee until thou beest destroyed. All right. Now, it's ironic, we were just talking about the farmers and stuff and the shit that they was going through. But the analogy here is, think of yourself as a farmer. All right. Now, you farming, you need like nature to come through, more or less to say, right? It says the heaven over thy head shall be as brass, meaning, you ain't got no rain cloud in sight, okay? And the earth that beneath thee shall be iron, meaning you got all that dry soil, you can't really plant there, it's like being out in the damn desert, Um, and Yahweh shall make the rain of thy land powder and dust, basically meaning that the only thing coming from the damn air is just the old, that dirt that's just blowing in the wind. You ain't got no rain clouds in sight, homie. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, it's ironic and funny that they was talking about the farming stuff and stuff like that, but really this is just talking about, like, again, you using the analogy of farming. This is what your so-called, your bread and butter, your so-called thing that's bringing in your revenue, your income, or your sustainability. All right. So all your little businesses is going to be like that. All right. You got, these businesses. I did a video on channel stuff, and, you got all these companies that selling so-called products or whatever. But if you don't have, again, using the analogy of farming, all right, if you don't have the rain, your crops ain't going to be no good. All right. So, and when you're looking at businesses like Coca-Cola and stuff, right, they doing channel stuff, and they're Ford and Chevy. I mean, yeah, you can produce all these damn cars, but if you ain't got nobody to sell it, then what's the point? You see what I'm saying? Let me see. Verse 28. And Yahweh shall smite thee with madness and blindness and astonishment of heart. And thou shalt grope at noonday as the blind gropeth in darkness, and thou shalt not prosper in thy way, and thou shalt only be oppressed and spoiled evermore, and no man shall save thee. Okay? So reading that's why a lot of these Edomites is stressing out over just stress of, the feminism movement, their wives leaving them, and them losing money, and all these different things, man. They starting to see all these things coming around them. The military men coming back from the military, they post-traumatic stress syndrome or whatever they call it. All these Edomites can't handle all this stuff, and they just super depressed and killing themselves, or getting on drugs and alcohol and then killing themselves. All right. And then it says, no man shall save thee. Again, that was talking about us in the beginning until we got redeemed by Yahushua. But hey, man, ain't nobody gonna save these damn Edomites. All right. The only salvation for these Edomites is going to be their final extermination. That's going to stop all the damn hell that's coming down upon them, all right? But in reality, there's nobody going to be able to deliver you Edomites up out of the hands of the Israelites and Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, all right? There's nobody going to be able to deliver you in that day. Nobody's going to come to your aid, all right? Let me see. It says, thou shalt betroth the wife, and another man shall lie with her. Really not going in too much into that. As part of the curses, but nevertheless, a lot of the Edomite women are actually coming over to Jake men, but thou shalt build a house, and thou shalt not dwell therein. Thou shalt plant vineyards, and thou shalt not gather grapes thereof. All right. The ox shall be slain before thy eyes, and thou shalt not eat thereof, and thy ass shall be violently taken away from thee before thy face, and thou shalt not restore thee. Thy sheep shall be given to thy enemies, and thou shalt not have none to rescue them. All right. And so again, like going into the farming video, all your businesses are dwindling off. You have these, so-called mom and pop farmers and stuff like that being put out by these big, massive companies, big, I forgot how they call it, like where they farm on a large scale in warehouses and stuff like that, but you getting put out of business by them, and also getting put out of business by these GMO crops and Monsanto and stuff like that. All right. So, you know what I'm saying? You building you a house, but you don't get to live in this house. The government wind up taking over that shit. The government's taking over all your different things and consolidating these businesses and just casting you Edomites out of all this stuff. All the things you working for, it's all like in the book of Job, say you're going to vomit up all the things that you labor for, all these things is being plucked up out of your hands. And then also in the article going about the birth rate, about how they're going to be outnumbered here in America, with the youth, that the amount of youth, the Israelite youth that's coming up, is they way outnumber these Edomite youth. All right. And the rate that they reproducing is way outnumbering these Edomite reproductive rate. So at a point in time, it's going to be at a point in time where, if we was to go on that long in the same society, which, we not, Lord willing, we not, you know what I'm saying? That the Israelites would, overtake them. They would be coming to the Israelites for every damn thing. All right. And really, hey, man, they're going to be building up everything for us in that sake, just like how they have it for us now. All right. But like I said, like the scriptures say, Esau ain't gonna make it that far. Lord, no man knows the time of the day. Lord willing, we don't make it, nowhere near that long, It says, let me see. I'll read verse 34. Thou shalt be mad for the sight of thy eyes, which thou shalt see. So, with that one there, you know what I'm saying? These Edomites is looking at, the economic trends and all these different things, the hegemonic masculinity dying off, basically all these other nations saying, are you become weak as us now, They're not the big dog on the planet no more, They seen all these things and they can't handle these things and just the unemployment rates, all these different things, Really with the money, they can't really handle all these things and them becoming a minority, They're not so-called superior to everybody else no more, They can't take all these things, so they just becoming depressed. And it says, thou shalt be mad for the sight of thy eyes, which thou shalt see. They super depressed, Read verse 37. Thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all the nations, whether Yahweh shall lead thee. Back in the days, it was a, how do I say, it was a good thing to be called a so-called white man, That's why our nation like to say that they everything but a so-called black man, even though that we're not, so-called black people, but in the world not knowing certain things, you be like, oh no, I ain't black, I'm this and that. I got a half of the way Israelites think, when they in that how do you say that, Gentile mind state. Oh, I got Irish in me or Scottish in me, not knowing that they Jake anyway, but thinking they Edomites. They trying to be Edomites as if it was a good thing, But nowadays, whenever somebody say the white man, everybody like, oh shit, now what about the damn white man? Now what about this nigga? You know what I'm saying? Now what about this damn devil? It's like that one dude that's always doing some shit, and as soon as you hear his name, you just like, now what did this nigga do? All right, now being a so-called white man is basically a byword, a proverb, And what's your real name? The Edomites. That's even worse than being called a so-called white man, Because, being a white man is really bad being called a white man, because everybody know in the world, basically the statistics of the so-called white man under that name. But hell, if you knew that they was the real Edomites, all right, and you was to research the Edomites through the scriptures, it'd be way worse. Like, oh, this nigga's the devil. Yeah, it makes sense now why the white man was doing all that, all right? Verse 43, the stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high, and thou shalt come down very low. All right. And like I was reading in the population growth rate, all right, talking about how basically the young minorities that are in the childbearing age and under the childbearing age, they way outpopulate the so-called white man in the same age demographic, whether it be the childbearing age and the under childbearing age. All right. The Israelites way outnumber them, and they reproduce at a faster rate. All right. So as they so-called fast forward down in the time, the Israelites will wind up outnumbering them. So it says, the stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high, and thou shalt come down very low. All right. And really, once these old time Edomites wind up dying off, that's going to be pretty much it for them. The generation that's on the planet right now, it already outnumbers these Edomites. The Israelites already outnumber the Edomites now. The generation that's now that's under the age of 18. All right. Let me read 45. It says, moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee, and shall pursue thee, and overtake thee till thou beest destroyed. All right. And no matter where you Edomites go, wherever you try to hide, all these curses gone. Hey, they gonna follow you no matter where you go. You might be, a millionaire or whatever, a billionaire living in New York, working on the stock market, and you starting to see these trends go down, and you want to get depressed and try to move away from it all and escape. So you go to another country, you go off in the backwoods and live a little so-called modest life in a cabin and try to just live it out that way, so you don't just go broke or whatever, whatnot. But hey, man, these plagues and these curses still gonna follow you no matter where you go, where you at. It's still gonna follow you, It ain't nothing you're gonna be able to do to get up out of this. And in fact, it's just gonna get way worse, because your ass is going into slavery. All right. And these curses are gonna be on top of your ass in slavery. All right. Verse 46. It says, and they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever. So yeah, basically starting today to now, when these articles started coming out, hey, these are going to be these signs of these so-called white people. People are going to start looking at these more and more signs like, yo, the new trending topic going to be about how these white people starting to die out. And more articles you're going to see about these things people gonna start talking about these things. Like, damn, you know, you're gonna start telling these so-called white women, hey, like, hey, if you want to think about your survival, you might want to get with somebody else other than that damn Edomite man that you with, because, hey, y'all is going out like, you know what I'm saying, like 8-track tape players, man. Y'all going out and start like 8-track tape players, man. That shit is old school. We ain't even going in that direction no more. You know what I'm saying? But, you know what I mean? You know, these signs gonna be on you, you know, and it's not gonna stop, you know. Like I said, even when you're in slavery, they still gonna be on you, all right? Let me read verse 48. Therefore thou shalt serve thine enemy, which Yahweh shall send against thee. Okay, now the most, like Deuteronomy 30:7 says that all these curses are gonna come upon Esau. All right, now we reading these curses, like I said, it was written to the perspective to the Israelites. All right. And our enemies will be the Edomites that would be coming up against us, but it's going to be vice versa. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity, all right? These things is turning around on them, all right? So they're going to be serving us. Like the scripture also said, they're going to come with their bending knees and all this and that. There's a lot of scriptures that talk about that, you know, that tell you that they're going to be, their kings and queens going to be our nursing mothers and fathers and things like that. They're going to be taking care of us, you know? It says, therefore thou shalt serve thy enemy, which Yahweh shall send thee against thee in hunger and thirst and nakedness and in the want of all things. All right. So whatever these Edomites want, whether they hungry, they thirsty, they need a house, they need new clothes, they're going to have to come to the Israelites. All right. It says, and he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck till he has destroyed thee. And you going into slavery for 1,000 years and you're going to be exterminated. All right. The scriptures don't lie. Man, the Most High is the highest of the highest, man. The way he can sit here and word all these things, man, when you read these scriptures and you get a good understanding, you know that it's not humanly possible that no human being could have written all this. You know, none of these people live long enough to either write all this stuff to have it to go hand in hand with itself like this, and prophecies to go from, you know, this is in the beginning of the book. You know, the Edomites hadn't even went into captivity at this point in time, and then now all this is coming back full circle again, you know, and you starting to see it happen, you know, and other prophecies that line up to this that ain't directly talking about this. Again, this is talking about being directed to the Israelites, but according to Deuteronomy 30:7, this is gonna all be passed on to Israelites. But according to like scriptures like in the book of Isaiah and stuff about these Edomites going into captivity up under us, all right? The book of Revelation speak about that. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity, all right? It says, you know, the Most High talking about bringing a nation upon them. It says, a nation of fierce countenance shall not regard the person of the old, nor show favor to the young. All right, now go to Jeremiah 51:20. All right, thou art my battle axe and my weapons of war. With thee I will break in pieces, you know, man, woman, and child, old and young. All right, the Most High going to use us as his battle axes, his weapons of war. All right, now again, this was talking about the Edomites coming up against us, being that fierce nation, but we're gonna reward her double like she rewarded us, recompense her like she gave you. You know. Let me see. Verse 56, the tender and delicate woman among you, which would not adventure to set the sole of her foot upon the ground for her delicacy and tenderness, her eyes. Okay, so this is these so-called, this again was talking about the Israelites, but these are all being transferred to these Edomites now. So these are these so-called ditzy, pritzy, upscale white girls type of shit, white women type of shit. They too good for whatever. You know what I'm saying? This was going to happen to her. Since her eyes shall be evil towards her husband of her bosom. All right. Which that's already happening. And it also says towards her son and towards her daughter. All right. Now we understand that, you know, through Jake's, they was doing abortions and, you know, we were separating the family and so on and so forth. All that was affecting us. But look how it's affecting these Edomites right now. All right. This is talking about these women, these pretty ditzy ass white girls. Right now, what do you see them doing today in Babylon 2018 year of prophecy? All right. A lot of these Edomite chicks is getting with the Israelite men. They just leaving they Edomite men. All right. And what are they doing? They're so-called despising their actual children with their, they Edomites with Edomites. You know what I'm saying? They producing Edomites. But when she getting with a Jake, she going to be bearing the seed of a Jake baby. All right. Meaning that she don't really give a damn about her race because that's it for her. All right. You see what I'm saying? Hey, she not bearing no more Edomite kids, you know? It says, and towards her young one that cometh out from between her feet, and towards her children which she shall bear, she shall eat them for the want of all things, secretly in the siege and straitness wherewith the enemy shall distress thee in thy gates. All right. And as far as a preview to this, you know, the new trend and the new hip thing now for these Edomites to do is basically become niggas. You know, they want to do all the nigga shit, you know, be dressing like niggas, acting like niggas, talking like niggas. You know, you see them on the internet and shit. There's these two chicks, right? One of them, what was her little call sign? Cash Me Out. Homegirl was like, I think she was saying catch me outside, like catch me outside for a fade. But I think these Edomites don't even know how to say the right slang. But nevertheless, her and there's this other chick, right? Another little white girl. You know, they doing the same little thing, you know. But they over here, more or less trying to be like Jake's, you know. They doing all the things that Jake's doing. They trying to have the same lifestyle and the up look and all these different things, you know. And if you can understand what these two chicks that I'm trying to reference is like, these are the same types of women who would have the same, like, nah, we need to start having abortions. I'm too thick. I'm too whatever. Now, I ain't saying these bitches is thick or nothing like that, but I'm just saying these same type of women who get the cornrows and all the weaves and trying to look like Jake women, they gonna start having the same mentality. Nah, I gotta preserve this and I can't have no kids. And they already don't care about life anyway, so they gonna go jump off and get an abortion, you know? And, you know, they already got the feminist movement and all these different things going on. They want to work on their careers and stuff like that. So these Edomite women still don't want to have these babies. They despising their own kids, you know? And as we seen in one of those articles about how their reproductive rate, you know, is way less than Jake's. And plus, you have way less people that's reproducing amongst these Edomites, all right? They've already then reproduced them damn selves about the whole picture already just by not reproducing, not having sex with one another and having kids, you know? Or they might be having sex, but, you know, they not actually reproducing when they have sex, you know? They getting their tubes tied and birth control and stuff like that nowadays, like the things that they was aiming at Jake, so Jake wouldn't reproduce, all right? I think that was the last one I'm gonna grab. Yeah, Lord willing, with that, you know, Lord willing, this whole series, you know, was edifying, you know, and you know, Lord willing, it gave you a little bit of, you know, that little spark that you, spiritual boost or whatever you needed, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? To see these prophecies come to pass. Finally, the damn Edomite is falling right before our eyes. We were seeing, you know, the setup, you know, we started seeing him remove the last little Jenga blocks before the whole Jenga stack started swinging. But now the blocks is all starting to tumble down and start falling, man. It's a glorious thing to be able to see all these things, you know, happening in our eyes and in our sights, man. And all we got to do is endure into the end and hold on to that faith. Keep pushing this truth to sincerity. Keep exposing this devil, man. He can't. Hey, man, that's the underlying truth of it all. You know, this Edomite, you know, this word is going out, man. It's hitting him in his spirit, man. He's understanding these things in his future, man. And he can't take it. And he's just committing suicide before he had to deal with these race wars and his spiritual power and these chariots coming down in the nuclear missiles, all right? He can't even deal with it. So what? He's already killing himself off, man. Hey, but the Most High gonna leave a whole lot of these damn Edomites left for us to run through, all right? And a whole lot of them to be missile food, man. He ain't gonna just let them escape by committing suicide. Hey, but that's also a terrible death for these people because they got to go through the depression and all this stuff going through it. And then they got to sit there and bear that they, you know, they wasn't the God of the earth and they wasn't the king and superior to everybody else, you know. Why you think you superior to these Jakes that you call niggas and spicks and stuff like that and how they all beneath you, you know, yeah, they in a way shittier scenario than you. You own a Fortune 500 company making billions of dollars and you fired this Jake just because you want to feel like you got power and flex. You know what I'm saying? Like you fired him 1,000 times over. Hey, he's still kicking it and thriving. You just fired him. He going out to a barbecue. You know what I'm saying? Chilling with his peoples and whatever, whatnot. He ain't even really stressing that. But you know what I'm saying? You just see your future and you go commit suicide, man. Hey, you people you ain't gonna have the strength for this slavery that's coming to you. You know, the Most High gonna have to increase your spirit. You know what I'm saying? And bless you to endure. Least your ass to just faint and die just waking up knowing you're gonna go into slavery. You know, because that's what's happening right now. You already know. All right. So Lord willing, this whole series was edifying, you know, and it's an eye opener and like I said, a spiritual booster to, you know, help you, you know, endure to the end, man. All right. We waiting on salvation and we see this salvation is right here around the corner, man. All signs point to this. Trump trying to fight the Lord with the space program. These Edomites is dying like flies. Jake is waking up and coming to this truth. They pushing this RFID microchip. All right. And World War III is like literally like tomorrow, basically. That type of shit. That like that close around the corner. All right. So all these end time prophecies, like the end time prophecies, are all right here. And if you understand these prophecies, they all pretty much happen simultaneously, all one after another, or they all link to one another thing, you know? Economic collapse brings what? The stress and depression to these Edomites, where these Edomites start killing themselves off. Then they got to go and start warring with the rest of these countries. And in the end, and all this strife and turmoil, they're going to wind up getting nuked. All right. bringing a death and destruction. Well, also in that economic fall, what they're going to do? The money going to collapse. They're going to implement the RFID chip. But that ain't going to save them. It's going to end off in war. All right. So like I said, all these things going to happen simultaneously. And hey, we are living in those days in your lifetime. You already seeing these things. If you watching, you seeing these things take place right here, right now, today. All right. Lord willing, like I said, this here whole series was edifying. Until next time, I say, Call Halal Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shah, Bahashim, Rakar Kadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of great millstone that taught me this truth and that rule well. And salutation and much love for you, Aki, and pushing this truth and sincerity in the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions. Stay strong. Shalom.